This is mildly off topic, but I've decided I want to be buried with my hand sticking out of the ground, and then I want my tombstone to say nothing but "Dab me up, dog," and so people can walk by and give me one last high five.
So you should get a fake hand for that.
No. It has to be my real
hand. Real hand is gonna No, it's gonna decompose.
No. Here's the thing. I'm going to hire people to moisturize it every couple months and make sure it's okay.
Moisturizing it won't fix the problem. Your skin will still decay. Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest Podcast, the podcast where nerds talk about nerdy things. I'm your host, Nick Barrett, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Jackson Glass. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing really good. I got my driver's license today, so long time coming.
That's exciting.
Long time coming. It's been too long.
You are now an officially licensed driver in the United States of America.
And I can finally drive away.
To where?
Anywhere
America's
else.
mostly landlocked. Well,
no,
actually, wait,
Canada.
no. Aside from Mexico and Canada, you can't go anywhere.
I'll go to
There's
Mexico.
water everywhere else.
I'll take the Honda Odyssey and go right through the wall. Go 90 miles an hour.
No, you gotta go. No, what you gotta do is you gotta, drive to Japan, right? But as you drive off the coast of California, your car just, follows the ground down to the bottom of the ocean, and you just drive on the bottom of the ocean the whole way. But because Japan is an island, you'll also come up on the beach, and then a Honda Odyssey one day will just miraculously appear out of the Pacific Ocean.
Is that like the Muppets where they travel by a map and then just drive up onto the beach, and then they roll down the windows and they're like, oh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah.
How are you?
If the Muppets can do it, it logically makes sense.
I'm saying, how are you?
Am okay. It's been a rough week. And
okay.
You know why it's been a rough week?
Why?
Because, you see, which this will get into our topic for today, which is what we've been watching. We just thought it would be fun to get on here and talk about what we've been watching recently. And I also want to bring up a recent addiction we have both started. Don't worry, it's not drugs. I'll tell you that much. It's also not alcohol. It's nothing bad. It's just an addiction. But we'll get there.
Yeah. I'd also like to say I'm right now living in this Christian boy bubble where every day that Kanye delays his album, my heart dies a little bit more inside, and I'm just not okay with it. Kanye West is ruining my life, but don't worry, when it finally comes out,
whoa,
I will be better.
It's not Kanye West, it's Ye.
Sorry,
he is legally changing his name to Ye.
Mr. Ye.
Mr. Ye
is ruining my life by delaying his album more and more, and I'm essentially turning into a Nintendo fan by saying, "When's it dropping, guys?" And then it's just 3 years later, and it finally comes out.
Just like Kanye's album, I believe that it will never come. Actually, wait, no, I messed up the joke. Excuse me. Allow me to start over. Just like Halo Infinite, until it's here, I do not believe that it's real. Because Halo Infinite has been infinitely delayed. And
just like my girlfriend, I don't believe. No, I'm just kidding.
You're gonna be single for a long time.
Okay, thank you. That was wow. Okay.
But it's okay. See, because since I'm not single, that means you have hope of finding a girlfriend while still on the podcast.
So essentially, if you can do it, anyone can.
Yeah. If you can dream it, you can do it. Famous quote by me. Totally not by any other, famous
any other
person
visionaries.
or celebrity or inspirational figure.
I'd also like to say, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my new Robin Hood hat. I spent $20 on it because I'm not in your...
you spent $20 on a hat.
Get in my... You're not even in my tax bracket. Like, get out of here. $20 hat. All right? No. And my favorite part is I look like I'm in disguise in a Marvel movie. You know how they always just wear, like, sunglasses and, like, black caps? And then people notice them and they're like... And then like, oh, why didn't you tell people that Captain America was there? It's like, shh, I'm wearing a solid black hat. You don't know I'm here.
See, what's funny is you make the joke about how I'm not in your tax bracket, and that's totally true because see, we both aside from the podcast, obviously, we both are video editors at respective churches, okay?
Respective.
We get paid about the same amount. But you work the amount of hours in a week that I work in a month.
because and here's the thing. I'm not in college yet. That's right. You're listening to the opinion of someone who hasn't even gone to college. That's on you.
How dare you have an opinion and not go to college?
Excuse me.
Who do you think you are? You're not allowed to have an opinion until you're 18 and in college.
Everyone, according to the government. They say, "Hey, yeah, you're not 18. You don't get a say in anything.
Nothing. You just."
And they wonder why I want to drive away.
You can't. Wow, way to bring us full circle. But
full circle.
Let me tell you why it's been a rough week. Because part of what I've been watching is what has made this such a difficult week. So
is it our Instagram reels?
Decided.
Is it? Are you watching our Instagram reels?
No, those are fire. Those don't make me contemplate being a film major.
You know where you can watch our Instagram reels? On our Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast. Link in the description of the episode, and you can just search. What's your Twitter? I forgot.
You can tweet me and see all of my trashy film opinions on Twitter at Nerdiest Podcast.
All right.
Which, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know how I feel. So, to get to the point.
Yeah.
I rewatched I didn't rewatch, but I watched for the first time Transformers 2 and 3. And my God, I don't know how to feel anymore. I contemplate all sense of like what makes a movie. Because Transformers, to summarize, is just hot chicks, robots, and explosions are the three things you could use to summarize the Transformers. There's no substance, there's no value. Exactly. There's no substance or value outside of those three things. None whatsoever. And
you know what's sad to me about this? There's a market. There shouldn't be, but there is a market. And I'm glad that the market has dwindled. We're like slowly making less movies like that as we realize Michael Bay does not make great movies. But
who you telling?
What? The newest movie I've seen that's like this was like Pacific Rim 2, which I did not care for. But I feel like we're slowly leaning away. Now big crazy robot movies are cool. We're slowly losing the market for it as like people start to hate on Fast and Furious and like other like dumb movies, air quote. But I've never seen Transformers. I can't speak on that.
Okay, so you say that there's a dwindling market for giant robot movies, but
what?
Transformers is in an interesting position because all of the Michael Bay movies were bad. So. Yes. There's a market. Yes, it is dwindling, but there is a very dedicated Transformers fan base who wants good movies.
Yeah.
Which is why when Bumblebee came out, Michael Bay had nothing to do with that movie aside from maybe being an executive producer, but he had no creative control in that movie at all, which is why, and I will die on this hill, and I don't think anybody's going to fight me over this, Bumblebee is the best live-action Transformers movie we have gotten, and they're bringing back, I think, the same director to do another one.
Okay.
In the same vein. And I know we're going to talk about Transformers down the line, so I don't want to say too much, but what made Bumblebee so good is it perfectly matched the nostalgia fan service with actual plot and, like, telling a good, decent story. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, they are, like, the other 5 movies are canon, and all these new movies are just prequels. I wish they would just decanonize them. But to summarize my thoughts on the first two Transformers, or not the first two, the second and third, because the first one is okay. Mm-hmm. The other two are just like, there are so many plot contrivances. Like, there's one scene in the second movie where Decepticon lands on the ship, and then they're like, hey, all this construction equipment Decepticons needs to jump off this barge. Nobody on the ship noticed 6 giant construction machines just jump off the ship. And there was no weight imbalance from the boat of 6 giant metal robots leaning to one side getting off the boat. What? That's not how it works. You're not gonna not hear or see that. Isaac Newton was just like, I'll let it slide.
Spinning in his grave. Spinning in his grave. You see...
No, he's transforming in his grave.
Ayo. This is mildly off topic, but I've decided I want to be buried with my hand sticking out of the ground, and then I want my tombstone to say nothing but "Dab me up, dog," and so people can walk by and give me one last high five.
So you should get a fake hand for that.
No. It has to be my real hand.
Your real hand is gonna No, it's gonna decompose.
No. Here's the thing. I'm going to hire people to moisturize it every couple months and make sure it's okay.
Moisturizing it won't fix the problem. Your skin will still decay. It's not the moisture that's the problem. It's the fact that there are no more living cells in your body to maintain the skin.
Neutrogena cannot save this, my guy.
Much like your hand, the Transformers franchise decayed my love of Transformers and just made me want better movies. So aside from the really bad Transformers movies, what have you been watching? Because I have an extensive list, but I'll let you go first.
Do you want me to do my whole list or go back and forth?
I have a couple on here that I'm just gonna breeze through. So if you wanna just do a couple, and then we can go back and forth.
I haven't had a lot of time to watch a ton of TV because I've been really busy watching my life fall apart. I was watching What If, and I know we're gonna talk about What If later, but I've seen the first 2 episodes. I haven't watched the third one. I've heard it's really good, but I'm honest, I want to talk about What If for a second because 1, we're doing a full episode on it later and I want to see how my opinion changes from now to then, and 2, I have mixed emotions because the first episode I loved. I thought Captain Carter was awesome. I thought it was really cool the way they paralleled to the first Captain America movie. I did a full kind of a quick review on Instagram. You can watch it there. And I thought that was great. Then the second episode comes out and they say, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? And I thought, oh, that's awesome. It's Chadwick Boseman's final performance in the Marvel Universe. He does great. Now, his voice acting is incredible. And a lot of the voice acting is, and the animation is beautiful. But I did not like the second episode. And let me tell you why. You're very shocked. Let me tell you why. I was so bored. I don't get it. You see, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but it wasn't what if T'Challa was Star-Lord. It was T'Challa as his character doing things that Star-Lord does as T'Challa. And so seeing Star-Lord in that position where he wasn't super fun and quippy and quick wit and crazy was so different. And there were barely any of the other Guardians of the Galaxy characters, and it was very quick oh, we need to do this mission. All right, we did the mission. Yeah, good job, gang. And I wasn't a fan of that. What is the meaning of your face? Did you really like the second episode?
I did. I really liked the one with T'Challa as Star-Lord. It's actually okay. Needless to say, we are recording this episode pretty far in advance, so only the first 3 What If episodes are out. By the time this comes out, it should be closer to 7 or 8. But the one with T'Challa was my favorite because 1, Star-Lord is, aside from Iron Man, my favorite Marvel character, and part of that is because Chris Pratt is the one who plays him. But I think giving T'Challa the role was very interesting because it's a different it's a different character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would make different decisions, and like, oh man, he just talked down Thanos. Crazy,
cool.
Am I right?
I
Like, he was just cool. Like, Thanos, don't commit genocide. I like how they called it genocide.
I like Thanos because he was like, there's always genocide, and I thought that was funny.
Another thing that What If is doing that I really respect is how, like, your first inclination when you see animated is like, oh, it's gonna be more like an animated kids show. What if this thing happened? No, not at all. It still maintains the same, like, not as gruesome, but it does maintain a level of violence that the Marvel movies have. Yeah. Like, they'll specifically say genocide. They wouldn't say that in a kids show. They openly swear. You wouldn't do that in a kids show. Like, so there's all these other things that happen that make it feel more like a Marvel show than an animated kids show. And yeah, I think the T'Challa episode was good. I also liked the episode with Captain Carter. I wasn't entirely sold on the animation style until the second episode. It took a little getting used to because it's very different.
Yeah.
I like it, but it just took a little bit of getting used to. And I don't want to spoil the third one for you, but I will say the third one is it's good.
You can spoil it.
It's not I mean, I don't want to spoil it though because it was actually kind of good.
Okay.
Like it's basically a murder mystery.
Yeah,
is the third episode.
That sounds
so
cool.
I don't want to spoil
it. I'll probably watch it tonight or tomorrow. I think the gimmick of what if this character was this character, like, I was done with after the first episode, and so I was ready to, like,
which of course they're gonna do that more.
Else. Which I know,
but that's like half the show. Is just like, what if
I'm frustrated
all the
because,
Avengers
like,
were zombies?
I'm frustrated because, like, they were given this open book to say do whatever you want, and they're saying, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? And, like, that's cool, but I want more. So I'm sure as the episodes go on, I'll have more. That's why we're doing a whole episode later after the whole series is out. So this is not my set in stone opinion. Wait till our full episode about it comes out.
Yeah.
Give me some of the sauce. What have you been watching?
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, Megan gave me some crap about how I hadn't been watching anime, which is very out of character for her, and I was shocked that she did it. But she just, like, it wasn't like she wasn't giving me crap, but she was like, you know, I've noticed you don't talk about, like, watching a lot of anime anymore. Like, you've been watching a lot of other stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I'm not watching anime. So I went back and I have binge watched 3 anime.
Oh.
All of which were really good.
Okay.
Well, 2 of them were phenomenal. The third one was good. The first one I watched is Kill la Kill, which all I'm going to say is, for the younger people in the audience, don't Google Kill la Kill. The show visually is not safe for young eyes.
If you are young and listening to this, cover your eyes because we're talking about an adult anime. All right, continue.
Well, it's not an adult anime. It's just there's a lot of scantily clad women.
Oh.
And that's the plot.
You see,
like, when I tell you that is the plot, I am 100% serious.
You see,
and it was kind of good.
I'm not versed in the anime terms. I don't know words. I just like.
I'll send you a picture of it later because I want to get your reaction.
What?
I want to get your reaction to what it looks like. And all of the shows I've been watching are all 1 season anime. So
okay, so you're watching limited series.
Yes. The second one I watched sounds very, like, you'd think they'd be the same, but no. The second one I watched is Akame ga Kill, which has a lot less scantily clad women.
Good.
Which is good.
The
plot was there. If you like stuff like Attack on Titan, you should watch Akame ga Kill because it's got kind of the same, like, revolutionist vibes, and also had me rooting. Like, in the beginning, there was a couple that I didn't want together, but by the end of the show, I was like, you know what? No, these people need to be happy, gosh diddly darn it. So, total flip there. It has ended up in my top 10 anime, which is going to shock some people. It was there. And I put it in my top 10 list shortly after watching it, and I was like, is this just, like, recency bias? No. I look back on it like 2-3 weeks later, and I'm like, no, that was still top
because
tier
the
show.
recency bias
And then,
is such a real thing. Like, that is so real to leave the theater and say, that was the greatest movie I've ever seen, and then like a week later be like, huh, eh. That's kind of how Rise of Skywalker though. No.
It's exactly how I felt about that movie.
Same. I can't believe we had the same shared experience.
It's true. And then the third anime I watched, which we talked about it on the anime episode, Colin and I did, I finally finished Cowboy Bebop, which, Jackson, I think you would enjoy Cowboy Bebop because it's not like... It's kind of like the Studio Ghibli films in the sense that it's anime, but it's one of those like super popular in America anime.
Okay.
Because
so it's like light. Anime light.
Yeah. Like it's still got some of those over the top animated things that anime does, but it's not as ridiculous as some of the other stuff I've watched.
You see, if you follow us on Instagram, another plug, I'm sorry, but if I had to edit the reels for all the anime ones, and because they did an anime episode without me, because I am not well versed in that at all, and he sent me a ton of clips, a ton of intros to use, and I just looked at them and I thought, I was just like, I cannot tell any of these apart. And I don't
say that. You're gonna offend many people.
You see, this what I'm gonna say was Cowboy Bebop was the one that stood out to me because it was different. Like the intro was different, and it was like a gunslinger, like saloon type, and it was like, what's the word, like noir type that I really liked. So maybe I'll try it someday.
It's got like the opening song for Cowboy Bebop is such a banger. Like.
You see, I don't mean to offend the weebs. I'm sorry. I don't.
You're gonna offend the weebs. It's too late. It's already too late.
I could sneeze and it would offend the weebs. So.
No, it's true. It's true. Anime fans are that sensitive.
Don't get mad. You know it's true. All right.
All right. Back to you. What do you got?
You see, I knew this would happen. My list is going to be so different from yours. It's going to be kind of sad.
Yep.
The next thing I wrote down, because this is true, this is what we've been watching. We are officially all caught up on Masterchef Legends. You see, okay, before I lose you, Masterchef is so funny to me. Every episode is the same. It's completely dramatized. They're always like, you did not cook this rice to perfection. It's undersalted. You're in the bottom 3. And let me tell you, every episode is like that, and I eat it up. Pun intended. I eat it up. We legitimately watch Masterchef Legends every night. They bring in a new legendary chef every week. It's really cool. It's really, it's just, everyone has like their like air quote guilty pleasure, like reality TV. That's mine. We're watching it on Hulu, and we finally caught up, and now we have to wait weekly for the episodes. So I'm kind of sad about that. But it means we get to watch other shows that aren't just MasterChef. I'd also like to say, final thing, we've officially watched every episode that has ever been released of MasterChef. So
I'm gonna knock you out for that pun. That pun was so bad. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm going to knock you out for that point. Stop. No, you're done. You're fired. Get out. No, I'm kidding. Please don't leave. I don't want to talk to myself for another 40 minutes.
I can't go back to the old days.
The old days where you were just a listener? Whoa.
Wow, cringe. I used to listen. You see, dreams can come true. I've also been watching The Simpsons a lot. I got into The Simpsons last year, and I pretty much binged the first 7 seasons because I was like super into it, and I was like in on all the culture, and I've like read the books written by the executive producers. They're all really good. I kind of fell out of it because the episodes I felt started to repeat. Turned out I had kind of watched too much of it too fast and needed a break. So I kind of got back into it. I decided I'm going to try to watch to season 23. And you see, The Simpsons is at like season like 50. Like, I'm not going to take the time to watch all of it. But in season 23, they thought that they were going to get their funding cut. And when they thought that, they wrote and directed its complete episode, what they thought was going to be their last. So there is an ending to The Simpsons, but then their funding didn't get cut. And now they're still going. So I'm going to watch to that episode in season 23 when it was supposed to end. Because it's not that good anymore, in my opinion. Everyone says that. It's like, when is The Simpsons... The executive producer of The Simpsons, Mike Reiss, he's been the executive producer for like 17 years. And he said, every year people say, when will The Simpsons be good again? And he said, they say that and then watch every week. Which I think is hilarious. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just get
he's kind of got a point, though.
He's right. Like, he's absolutely right. People hate it and then keep watching. I don't know. That's one of the things I've been watching. I've also been trying to finish Gravity Falls so hard.
Oh, you need to finish it. It's so good.
You see, Gravity Falls is a show I'm actually really enjoying. A lot of times when I watch things for the podcast, it's almost like a chore of like, oh, I need to check this off so we can talk about it. But it's turned into one of like it's really well done. I don't understand. So I don't get it. I love Alex Hirsch. Yeah, I'm trying to finish it. I'm about most of the way through season 1. There's only 2 seasons, which a lot of people are sad about, but that means that I can watch the whole thing quickly. Supposedly, I've been watching for like a year now and I'm not done, so...
Well, also the show ending at season 2 was a creative choice. Like,
good.
Disney didn't cancel the show, which is a big misunderstanding. Is everybody's like, oh my gosh, Disney canceled Gravity Falls. No, Alex Hirsch willingly ended Gravity Falls at season 2.
How it should be. You see, shows go on.
It's not
for
a
so
show
long.
Because Gravity Falls is a show that takes place within a summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Phineas and Ferb where it just goes on for eternity, and it's just all one summer. Mm-hmm. Gravity Falls takes place in one summer, and based on how the show is paced, it feels like one summer.
And the summer ended, and then they moved on. And I think that's what The Simpsons should have done. I think they should have ended like when they intended to, because now it's just the show that's gonna last forever, instead of like that really good show that went for so and so long. Like, because 23 seasons, let's be real, that's so freaking long. It could have been that really good show that ended after 23 seasons. They had an incredible run. But now it's the show that's not great anymore that's going to run forever. That's my opinion. I think The Office did the same thing. It went way too long.
I literally can't fathom writing a show for 23 seasons. Like, that's some serious job security.
No, legit.
But, like, wow. 23 seasons. That's so many episodes.
And also,
like,
I'm gonna Google how many episodes they're in, and based on how Mike Reiss talks about how he talks about their episode process, they're working like 30-hour shifts to get these episodes done. Like, these people are committed. It's insane. I highly recommend his book, Springfield Confidential. I read it all the way through on my trip to Colorado. It was a great read by the campfire. But I also refuse to read. I don't
camp, so I wouldn't know.
Well, I don't camp. I don't usually camp or read, so there was 2 new things for me.
Wow. I'm so proud of you.
You see, I finally read, and I only read because there's no Wi-Fi. There's no connection out, so I'm
Where's
just left
the lie,
with my
though?
book. And the book I'm reading is about a TV show. So, like, this is how disconnected from reality I am.
It's okay. I'm also disconnected from reality.
You can judge if you want. You do the same thing.
It's true.
What's next? What are you watching?
So I'm gonna bring up 2 more shows. I started a long time ago. Like, I think before we even did our first what we've been watching. Oof. I started Tangled, the series, which, if you love the movie, please watch the show. No, I finished it recently.
Wow. I thought you'd watched the
what
whole
I'll
thing
say
back then.
Oh, no. I just started it. Okay. I finished it a month or so ago. And what I want to say is, if you love the movie, watch the show. I will say the third season is definitely the weakest out of the two. Megan and I kind of watched it together. Like, we watched it at the same pace, but that's a lie because I binged through the entire first season and then I stopped for a while because she was like, oh, you need to stop and wait for me to catch up. So I waited for her to catch up, and then she, like, blew through the second season, and I did not feel motivated to watch for a while. So she, like, blew through the second season, finished the third season, and I was still sitting there like, so yeah, I haven't even started the second season yet. So eventually I started binging it again. It's a really solid show.
I want to bring up, I think you said the third season is the weakest of the two.
Sorry, I meant to say out of the three.
Okay, you really confused me there. So there's 3 seasons.
Yes, there's three seasons. The first season has what I would dare say is one of the greatest twist villains ever written to screen. The character development is like peak. Also, I know we've brought this up before, but it's basically a show about the best Disney couple ever.
I'm not getting into this fight.
Expanding upon their relationship. I mean, you say it's Anna and Kristoff, but I don't see a Frozen show.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Tangled could have been so much better if you cut out the beginning sequence.
You're just quoting a TikTok you sent me like 2 weeks ago.
This is a great idea. It could have been amazing if you cut out the beginning and you have no idea who Mother Gothel is. You would have found out with Rapunzel. And so, like, giving the audience the context, like, I still think it's a great movie. I still love the movie. I think there was too much context. And so, like, you're just kind of like, you know so much. There's no mystery. I still think it's an incredible movie, though.
Yeah, and something the show does really well is it expands upon, like, the lore and the world of the movie without decanonizing anything.
That's good.
It works with the foundation that the movie made, and they were like, okay, so we did this, and this in the movie, but we left these gray areas so we have room to play in there. And it was also, like, they did a lot of fan service, but it was good fan service. So overall, it was a good show. I know it's crazy. People don't think it does, but I would recommend it to anyone who loved the movie, or if you want to just watch a really good show. Like, you got Tangled.
Here's my question: is that another show that just, you know, when I see that, I think, like, it was on Disney XD when I was like a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, I put it in like this kids show category. But, like, when I hear people like you talk about it, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of surprised that these shows aren't, like, just for kids. And it's, like, we push this point almost every episode, but, like, don't discredit animation because there are such thing as animated kid shows.
Yeah. And Tangled does have some, like, really stereotypical, standard, formulaic episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But in between those, there are some really deep ones where they explore real, like, heavy-hitting topics with, like, these characters that people love. So they found a good balance of it. The one trap it does fall into is they do a lot, and I mean a lot, of filler in the first and third season.
Oh.
They're, like, the first 15 episodes of season 1 are basically filler. Like, you could watch a plot summary on YouTube, and then start at episode 16 if you want to get to the real plot of the show.
Okay, you see, you say things like that, and it makes me think, is it a good show or not?
Yes.
You see,
it is a good show. And it's not even, like, it's not bad filler. I enjoyed most of the episodes. Yeah. It's just, if you are someone who wants to watch the show for the plot, skip to episode 16 and start from there. Jeez. Season 2, you should watch every single one. It's like, listen, this might be a little bit lofty, and some people are going to come at me for this, but season 2 of Tangled feels very much like Avatar: The Last Airbender, because it's all about going to these different places, and you have to reach a certain place by a certain time. So it has a lot of that consistency, and the part of the reason the first season has so much filler is because it all takes place in the kingdom. They don't go anywhere else aside from this kingdom. So it's all set in one place. So you have to find new things to do in this one place to justify your 24 episode season. But then once you get out of that, it's like, oh, we can go wherever we want. We can do whatever we want. And the third season kind of falls back into that. But it's not as bad in the third season. Okay. So
that's interesting. I thought you finished that a long time ago.
Nope. But recently. No. You know what I did finish recently?
A long time ago. What?
So, I recently, since The Office and Parks and Rec have both been taken off Netflix, Community has become my go-to comfort show. When I'm like, I just need something I know is good that I can turn on to laugh at while I eat dinner or whatever, I turn on Community. I ended up actually rewatching all of Community.
Every episode?
Well, aside from like the first 5, and I would skip a couple here and there, like in season 5, but I mostly watched all of the episodes over again. Not as bad as I remember.
Huh.
Well, sorry, seasons 5 and 6, not as bad as I remember. The rest of the show, just as great as I remember watching it like a few months ago. So doing a full Community rewatch was quite the treat, indeed. And I like really enjoyed doing that.
I was doing some video editing last week, and I turned on Community for the first time in a while, and I was like, man, Donald Glover is the funniest person on earth. So, there you go.
I will say, I didn't tell you this, but I did watch the first episode of the Joel McHale show with Joel McHale.
Oh.
And it's a different kind of show. It's not what I was expecting, but Jillian Jacobs, who plays Britta, was on the first episode, and at the end, there's like a gag towards the end where some guy is like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna cancel the Community movie. And she looks at this guy and is like, guy name, how could you do that? That was supposed to be Donald Glover's big break. And I was like,
oh my
the roast of the century right there. Poor Donald Glover. His big break was in, well, actually, I can't say his big break was in Solo, but he was in that movie. And that was the last time I've seen him.
That's the funniest thing. What is his show? Is it like a variety show?
It's like a green screen reacting to things show.
What?
Yeah, you'd have to you'd have to watch the first episode to understand what I mean when I say that. Huh. Yeah. So, unless you have any other shows, I have one show that I have not told you about.
Oh no.
So, I will let you go. I'll let you talk about your show, and then we can talk about mine real quick, and then I want to talk about our addiction, and we can close out with that.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of scared to see what you're going to say. 2 things I've been watching. One, I watched 2 Steve Martin movies this week. They were pretty much the same movie. We watched House Sitter and Bringing Down the House. Now, in House Sitter, he is like a architect that built a house for his girlfriend Becky to propose for her. He literally built their dream house and proposed to her with that house. And she says no because she's so overwhelmed because he built her house and everything. And then he meets this waitress, and she's like kind of crazy and has like no connections, like no family or anything. And then she goes to his house and stays there without his consent and tells everyone in his hometown that they are married. And so he pretends to be married to her to win back his old girlfriend, Becky. It's an interesting movie. It's kind of sweet. It's sweet. It's really funny. It's like, it's Steve Martin, where he's funny, and then it's like kind of a sweet movie, and he's actually like a really great actor. Bringing Down the House was almost the same plot, except Queen Latifah is in it, and she plays a framed convict on the run. And he keeps her in his house secretly, and it goes from this romantic comedy into a crime thriller, because they literally go to like this club where she gets shot. It's a really weird movie. I wouldn't really recommend either, but I had fun watching them. It's the kind of movie that I'm not going to rewatch, but kind of enjoyed watching. The second thing I wanted to say is I've watched a lot of YouTube recently. Mainly I've been watching commentary videos on YouTube from Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez, and they're like the big two of like commentary. I don't care. They're some of the funniest people on YouTube. They're making things that are funnier than Netflix has ever put out. Just watching them crap on a bad movie is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time, and I don't understand why, because all signs point to this shouldn't be funny, but it's so good. So that's what I've been watching. I need to know what you're about to say.
Okay. Well, one thing I remember that I actually watched it today. I watched the Studio Ghibli film Princess Mononoke, which fantastic. What I will say is, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you like. Go watch it. It was a great film. Now, you will double like this film if you like Breath of the Wild. You're gonna love this film, because it's very clear that the Zelda team took a lot of inspiration from Princess Mononoke for Breath of the Wild and what seems like Breath of the Wild 2. Mm-hmm. So if you like that, go watch Princess Mononoke. Maybe at some point, if somebody caves and gets HBO Max, at least for like a month, so he can watch all the Studio Ghibli films, we'll do a Studio Ghibli episode at some point.
Let's be real. If you had to pay for it yourself, would you have HBO Max?
No. But what I will tell you is, if I needed to watch the Studio Ghibli films for the podcast, I would cave and get it for a month.
You see?
I would put out the personal
you see
out there.
I am so cheap that money. Hello, I like money. I say I'm cheap.
Okay.
I've flexed on my $20 hat like 20 minutes ago. And then I'm like, I can't get HBO Max.
So,
please share
the show. Okay. So I started a new show this week.
Uh-oh.
And I deliberately did not tell you until now.
Oh no.
Because I wanted to capture your genuine reaction on the podcast. So I started watching 30 Rock this week.
Let's freaking go.
I'm like 14 episodes into the first season.
And
what I'll tell you is, I was not hooked until like the 5th episode.
You see?
It took a lot longer to get me into it than I thought it was going to.
You see? That's how it works. But after the first like 5 or 6 episodes, you just care about the characters so much that you have to keep watching.
It's true.
I need your thoughts.
The only thing,
because this is like my favorite.
The only thing that I don't like thus far is that there is this weird, uncomfortable romantic tension between Jack and Liz, and I don't like it. Like, it's there, and it's almost like one of those things that's there, and it's like, we're gonna expand upon this at some point, but we're planting the seeds now. And I'm like, out of all the people on this show, these two are the only two that I don't want to get together. Under any circumstance.
What do you want me to tell you? Like what do you want to know?
Don't tell me anything.
Okay. I won't tell you anything.
Don't tell me anything. Tell me nothing.
All I'll say is 30 Rock is like is like one of my favorite shows right now. We just finished it a bit ago. I recommend it to anyone that likes comedy. Like, it is legitimately like one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Like, it's on Netflix now.
Low key, so. I think Kenneth is my favorite. Like,
Kenneth is so funny. He's like the farm people, and he's like, I don't know, they have like no, you haven't gotten to that. Dang it, I can't make references because you haven't gotten that far.
It's funny because the only other reference I have for Jack McBrayer, is it McBrayer?
McBrayer? I think so.
The only other reference I have for him is Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph. So all I see is, I'm like, Felix, is that you?
Why do I fix everything I touch? Yeah.
So
it's such a good show.
I love the show. I think it's definitely gonna get better. I can tell. Although it's got 7 seasons, and I'm kind of worried it's gonna have like the Community effect, where it slowly over time you can tell that they reached a peak and it was only downhill from there. but I could be wrong.
I'm not going to tell you what I think about that. I'm not going to tell you. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, please don't. Because you kind of impacted how I felt about the last 2 Community seasons, which is why going back and rewatching it, I realized they're not as bad. Because you doomsdayed me into thinking that I wouldn't like the 5th and 6th.
You watched them before me.
Yeah, but you were sitting here like, well, I don't think... I've heard they're not that good.
Well...
which made me be like, oh man, if Jackson doesn't think they're good, then well...
I have a lot of strong opinions.
Maybe they're not that good.
And my mom makes fun of me for this. I will either think a movie is the worst thing I've ever seen, or it's what I call a cinematic masterpiece. And it's true.
No, that's accurate.
There's no middle ground for movies. For me, it's either life-changing or hot garbage. So, for me, 30 Rock was life-changing.
Life-changing. My entire life has just changed.
It's changed. Thank you, Tina Fey. Also, I'd like to talk about the joke per minute ratio of 30 Rock. Like, can you just appreciate how much comedy they shove into those 22-minute episodes?
Yes. Yeah. It's intense. And I also like some of the meta humor of, like, writing a comedy show in a comedy show.
Yeah. But the comedy show isn't that good.
Yeah. And it's like the comedy show you're watching is good, but it's about these writers who write an okay comedy show for NBC.
Also, I love the
Very
NBC
meta
references. This is so funny to me. I cannot believe NBC approved this. 2...
Oh, come on. Self-deprecating humor is all the rage these days.
That's what the kids want. Have you gotten to the Snapple episode yet?
Yes.
Where they're
that one killed me.
Where they're like, we can't advertise Snapple, but they're all drinking Snapple. And he's like,
no, it was like, we can't do... Mr. Donaghy, what do you want us to do? You want us to, like, put product placements in the show? Hey, have you guys drank your Snapple yet? Like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And then, like, what's the intern girl's name?
Oh.
The blonde. I don't remember her name. Not Jenna, the other one.
Suri?
Who, like, dresses kind of scandally. Yes, yeah, Suri. And, like, in that episode, she looks and she's like, I only drink Diet Snapple. And, like, it's very blatantly
she's like I only date guys
that
drink Snapple. Like, it's so funny.
Oh, so good.
Funny. You wanna put a bow on this? Wrap it up?
Yes. Because we'll come back and talk about 30 Rock at some point later down the line.
When you finish it.
So...
we can talk about it more
as
openly.
we wrap up here, let's talk about our addiction. Because, you know, you and me both have been suffering from this. Yeah. I kind of got you into it, and I'm sorry. I'm not sorry because it's good.
I'm trying. I'm going to a group every week. It's
calling me on the phone once a week to tell me about how many more movies you added to Letterboxd does not count as going to a support group.
It supports my addiction to Letterboxd.
So yes, that is our addiction, is Letterboxd, which you can follow me on Letterboxd at Nic_films. No K, by the way. NIC_FILMS. I can't spell. To see all of my controversial movie takes. Like, I did a Pixar ranking list on there. Cars 2 is a lot higher than certain people Megan would like it to be. So
the name drop.
Yeah, if you want to look at some bad movie opinions, I review all of the new films that I watch. So there, by the time this episode comes out, there should be a Cars 2 review on there. So we'll see if I still think it's an underrated movie, or if I think, you know, it's not as good as I remember it being a year ago.
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at The Glass Studios. That's the GLAS Studios, Glass with one S. The GLAS Studios, where I watch nothing but really niche movies. Because the last 3 movies I watched were the Steve Martin movies and Yes Day, because I'm allergic to normal. So
you can watch me rewatch all of these popular movies like Jurassic Park, Transformers, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I need to make a playlist of
Princess
things.
Mononoke.
I need to make a playlist of like things I need to watch for the podcast.
I have to ask, have you put together do you have like a complete list of movies you've watched this year yet?
Of movies that I have watched?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I know you did. I saw you did one for 2020 of like all the movies you watched. Do you have one for this year? Because I want to know what your movie number is at.
I have a list of 2019, 2020, and my current of 2021. 2019, I watched 57 films. 2020, I watched 61.
A little better.
This year alone, this is in the end of August, I've watched 55, which is only 2 away from my total 2 years ago. So I'm kind of getting those rookie numbers up. And I always want to watch more movies, but I'm always so tired.
I thought I was going to get to flex because I have 32. And how many I've watched this year. I thought I was going to get to flex and be like, weak! You only watched this many movies, weak, cringe. Nia, go ahead. Nope. You can do it to me.
Nope. Weak, cringe. You only see 30 whatever movies. I watched 50. Get on my level.
I like how I told you the number 5 seconds ago and you already forgot how many.
When are you going to learn that?
Come on, try harder.
When are you going to learn that I am KCD says dumb?
I learned it right now. I want my movie total for the year to be 60 at least.
At least. Mine's
at
about
least,
to hit 60,
which means I have to start hauling to get to that number because I'm at 32. I'm literally halfway there.
Everyone,
I have spent. It's taken me 8 months.
Someone clip this, and then we'll check back at the end of the year.
We can, because we're gonna do like a year in review episode. Yep. I do know I'll be watching a bunch of movies because like Studio Ghibli Fest is starting in October, I think.
Okay.
And I'm going to see Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro. And then, of course, the My Hero movie is coming out, finally, in the U.S., the third one. Mm-hmm. And then there's stuff like, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man. Spider-Man trailer this week. Holy crap, it was really good. That's excited. All I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'll probably...
And we also have stuff like, I'm going to go see Dear Evan Hansen, but somebody here has a grudge against Ben Platt. But we'll get into that in the next episode.
Yeah, no.
We'll get into that in the next episode, which is musical movies.
I want to try to see Free Guy next week because you said it was really good. Everyone
Please
said
do.
It's
it was
been
so
awesome. Good. I wanted to see Free Guy before Shang-Chi came out because if I went to the theater and I had to choose, I would choose Shang-Chi. Because
don't forget about that dream you had where you got in a fight with an emo goth kid going to see Shang-Chi.
I had a dream that I went to the theater to see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and I missed most of the movie because I got in a fight with an emo kid in the lobby. And the only thing
maybe that's your sign to go see Free Guy instead.
You see, I don't know. All I remember of the dream really was that he was getting mad at me for some reason, and I slapped him so hard that I knocked him out, and I carried him out of the theater. That's all I remember. I don't even know why. I don't know if he deserved it. It was a dream.
Splish splash, your opinion is trash.
He was emo, so he probably deserved it.
To any of our emo listeners out there, Jackson Glass has his own independent opinions and does not represent the podcast as a whole.
No, I'm sorry. I like to make jokes.
I'm Chandler Bing. I make jokes when I'm uncomfortable.
I too like Panic at the Disco.
Hello, fellow emo kids. I too like listening to the disco that panics a lot.
I'm kidding. I prefer...
I kid.
I prefer the disco with all the crackers. Panic at Nipsisco.
So, something that is very interesting and I'm kind of upset about is, as everybody knows, I'm living in unspecified... Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and out myself on the podcast right now. Wow. I'm making this decision. I live in Florida. I'm going to school in Florida. Wow. I live in the land of Disney World. Which is apparent because, it's on my Instagram anyway. So... I'm moving again because I need to be a lot closer to my school than I am right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm moving. And what's interesting is there's an AMC 20 minutes from where I'm staying now. And I went ahead and got the AMC Insider, the Stubbs Premiere, whatever. Yeah, because it's $15. It waives the online ticketing fee, which in the long run saves me a lot of money when I end up seeing 30 films at AMC. So I got that. But where I'm moving to... The AMC is 30 minutes away.
No.
And there's a Regal 5 minutes away. And I'm like, no, I have to make the commitment because I paid for the Stubbs premiere.
What are the Regal rewards?
Regal rewards are free. And see, but at Regal you just earn points. You don't like at AMC you also earn points. Well, at Regal you can redeem points for tickets, but it's like where the points are like you need 50,000 points to get to, you know, one movie ticket, and you know you get 2 points off of every purchase.
Worse than Chick-fil-A.
Whereas AMC, whereas AMC is like every $50 you spend, you get $5 back, which everybody should know that I've spent too much because I have $10 in rewards sitting on my AMC account right now.
That's $100.
So
you see, I've
gone and seen too many movies.
You see, we have a Phoenix theater, which I don't really know. Like they're kind of smaller-ish, air quotes. And I don't really do any of the rewards because I only go on Tuesdays because you get $5 movie tickets. So I refuse to pay full price because I need to spend it on $20 hats. So
yep. I really try to go see those, like AMC runs, I think it's before 5 p.m. Most movie tickets are like 30% off, which gets you down to like that $7 matinee price. So I try to go see movies in there. I haven't bought my tickets to go see Shang-Chi yet.
I don't buy movie tickets in advance. I don't.
I do.
I buy them like 2 days, like the day before.
I'm too worried people are going to take my seat.
You see, every time that I've ordered in advance, I've posted videos about this on Instagram where like I was like, oh, good thing we ordered in advance, and it's like empty theater.
Okay. I do it because I like the convenience of knowing my tickets are already bought, and
that's
like
why I do it. Even if
part of the reason I don't have tickets for like, there's movies like because I'm moving, I'm gonna have to cancel both of my Ghibli tickets and re-buy them because I have to change the theater. But the reason I haven't got tickets for like Shang-Chi or Dear Evan Hansen is like because I'm waiting to see where my new housing situation lands before I go ahead and like buy 10 movie tickets for the theater. Once I get that figured out, I'm going back to the movies.
What time are you looking at? I don't have a time going for this episode.
I'm at 59:20.
All right. You don't even have to edit that out. We're just gonna reel it in, baby.
Well, that was dope. I think we should do this more, but we need to like wait until you've actually watched more stuff that's not MasterChef.
MasterChef is fun.
If you make another cooking pun, I'm firing you. So you best watch yourself.
I'm struggling to think of a good cooking pun right now because I don't want to do this anymore.
Before you can think of a pun, I just want to say thank you for listening today. If you want to stay up to date with the podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at The Nerdiest Podcast or tweet us at Nerdiest Podcast. If you have feedback or a question you want to submit, you can do so through the Contact Us page on our website.
And if you enjoy what we do here, consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Or the best thing you can do for us is tell your friends, send them this podcast, because word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. And that's the best thing that you can do.
You're fired. Again, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Peace out.
A guy with a speech impediment, a robber with a speech impediment goes into a bakery. Let's just say he likes to take whisks. Thank you, goodbye.